Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reach Out and Read of Greater New York. My name is Phyllis. We have a great book for you today. Remember, every day is a great day for a story. Today's book is funny. It's called Animals Should Definitely Not Wear Clothing. Written by Judy Barrett and drawn, illustrated by Ron Barrett. And the publisher is Aloud, which is connected to Weekly Reader books. So we're going to see some animals and we're going to see what would happen if they wore clothing. Animals should definitely not wear clothing because it would be disastrous for a porcupine. What would happen if a porcupine got dressed? What's happening in the picture? Does anyone know what porcupines have on their bodies? Those long, they look like kind of long needles or pins. They're called quills. So if a porcupine got dressed, the dress would tear because the quills would make holes in the clothing. If a camel got dressed, because a camel might wear it in the wrong places. What would happen if a camel tried to put on a hat? Where is a hat supposed to go? And who knows what these things are called? See, the camel has bumps on his back. They're called humps. So this camel put his hats in the wrong place. That would be funny. What would happen if a snake got dressed? If a snake wore clothing, a snake would lose it. This snake is putting on pants. What's happening when the snake puts on the pants? Well, think about if snakes have legs, because when you put on pants, you put your feet and your legs into the holes in the pants. Well, this snake is slithering out of his pants. That would be funny if a snake got dressed, right? What if a mouse got dressed? Because a mouse could get lost in it. I wonder where the mouse is. Can anybody see? Little mouse got lost under the hat. This is one of my favorite pictures because a sheep might find it terribly hot. What if a sheep wore clothing? Now, if you think about what a sweater or a scarf or a hat is sometimes made of, it's made of something called wool. And where do we get wool from? Wool is like the hair, the fur of a sheep. So they give the sheep a haircut and they sew it or knit it and turn it into things we could wear, you know, hats, sweaters, scarves. But if this sheep wore this, he would be so hot. So I don't think the sheep's going to get dressed. What would happen if a pig wore clothing? Because it could be very messy for a pig. Oh my goodness. What do pigs love to do? They love to be in the mud, just get messy. If this pig got dressed, do you think his clothing would stay clean? I don't think so. Let's see the next animal. Okay, because it might make life hard for a hen. Okay, so a hen is like a girl chicken. What is happening when she gets dressed? Does anybody know where eggs come from? So this hen, this chicken is trying to lay an egg, but what happens to the egg? It gets caught in her pants. I don't really know if any chickens get dressed, but it's funny to think about. Next, we have a kangaroo, because a kangaroo would find it quite unnecessary. Means you don't need it. Did you ever see a kangaroo wearing a coat? So some of you might know that mommy kangaroos carry their babies. The babies are called joeys. They carry the joey in a pouch that they have on their body. It's connected to their body. And they have a special pouch to hold the baby joey. This kangaroo put her baby in her coat pocket. You think this kangaroo needs a coat with a pocket? She could just put the baby in her own pouch, but it's funny to think about. Now we have a giraffe, because a giraffe might look sort of silly. Oh my goodness. Think about giraffes. And when you look at a giraffe, the first thing you think of is his very long neck. Well, if a giraffe got dressed and tried to wear a tie around his neck, this is what he might look like. Now, if any of you know why giraffes have long necks, think about it. Why does a giraffe have a long neck? There's a reason. What do giraffes like to eat? So they like to eat leaves from the trees, so they couldn't reach up to the tree unless they were tall, very tall animals, and they had a long, long, long neck. So if you ever see a giraffe that's dressed, he might look like that. I think it's just make-believe. Let's look at the goat, because a billy goat would eat it for lunch. A billy goat is a kind of goat. And if you've ever visited like a petting zoo or something like that, you might know that goats chew on everything. They chew on paper, they chew on clothing. So what would happen if this goat got dressed? He might eat his clothing. That would be silly, right? A walrus, because it would always be wet on a walrus. What would happen if a walrus got dressed? He would always be wet, because walruses like to go in the water. I don't know if his mommy's gonna buy him any clothing. What do you think? A moose, because a moose could never manage. Let's look at Mr. Moose. Do you know what those things on top of the moose's head are called? Those big things. They're called antlers. And this moose is wearing suspenders. If you've ever seen this, they help to hold your pants up. Well, what's happening with this moose? He's getting stuck in his own clothing. I don't think he would like that, right? Let's look at the opossums, because opossums might wear it upside down by mistake. So let's see what's happening. The opossum's clothing, they like to hang from a tree, and their clothing is upside down. Oh, the elephant. And most of all, because it might be very embarrassing. Look at this picture and see what's happening. Do you see anything here that's matching? The woman went to the zoo and she was looking at the elephant and she's, you're wearing the same clothing that I am. And she's kind of like shocked and surprised, like, wow. I didn't know that elephants wear clothing, especially not the same clothing that I'm wearing. But there is one animal that a lot of us do dress in clothing, and that is a dog. I have a dog and she has jackets and sweaters, and if you have a dog, you might put a jacket on the dog to go outside. But anyway, I hope you liked this very funny book about what would happen if animals got dressed. Okay, my name is Phyllis, and thank you for joining us at Reach Out and Read of Greater New York. And remember, every day is a great day for a story.